Greetings, I'm your host, Jason Miles, and welcome to another episode of This is Revolution Podcast. If you are a returning listener, subscriber, so glad to have you back. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Hope you enjoy what you hear. Either way, please leave a like, subscribe. There'll be more stuff you like or don't like. Just before we bring in my co-host for the evening, we have something new for the patrons called the Crisis Papers. Different articles on a wide variety of topics by the TIR crew. I think y'all will dig it. I worked long and hard on the layout. It's free for all patrons that are in the Teenage Anarchist tier and above. The first issue is up, and we should have another one next week. I was actually on Ben Burgess's show last night talking about it. Don't give them an argument. The TIR gang has been making some appearances as well. Last week, Pascal and I were on the Pod Damn America podcast with Jake and Anders, where we discussed Donald Harris, it's Kamala's dad, and his challenge to the very popular at the time internal colony theory from 1973. Like I said, I was on Give Them an Argument last night with Ben Burgess discussing the latest essay that I wrote. This is what you want. This is what you get. The lie of political choice. And today I filmed an episode that should be airing tomorrow for Rick Sanchez's show on Russia Today. So that should be up. Kind of excited for you guys to see that. Doing television is so different from doing podcast stuff. You're timed. It's oh so professional. It makes me feel so bad. Like 15 people talked to me before I even got to quickly meet the host, who I think was a little nervous about having me on, but you guys be the judge. Once I find out when it's going to air, I'll put a link up in all the social medias. Now we got that out of the way. Let me bring in the TIR gang. He is my co-host, my homie, my dog, the man of the Mau Mau Hour, the king of Miami. Please welcome Pascal Robert.
Peace and greetings to the chat. Peace and greetings to the audience. Peace and greetings to Jason Miles.
How are you?
What's happening?
Just busy over here in TIR land. She is the TIR voice of reason. Another Haitian comrade, the M. Toussaint.
Hello, hello. I have a couple of things I'd like to say.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
First of all, Jacob Virgil, yes, this is on YouTube right now. He's watching on Facebook.
Watch on Facebook. Doesn't matter where you watch. We can still see what you say. We're watching you. We're watching you. Either way. I always feel like MT is watching me.
Also, Jason, weren't you on Grand Theft Auto recently?
What is that? No, what?
Give them an argument.
Grand Theft Auto. I said that. I was on Ben's show. Give them an argument.
You were on Ben's show. Okay, good.
Yeah,
well, I would like to say that I was recently on Billy Bunton's show.
I forgot your appearance.
I forgot about it too.
I feel like it was I thought we mentioned that.
I don't think we did.
Man, we suck. I saw a little bit of that and I commented as you were on the show.
It was nice to see you.
How'd you like being on Billy's show?
It was cool. It was very, very cool to be on the other side of things and have questions asked of me about me and trees.
Pascal and Toussaint, do you guys prefer being guests on other shows?
Depend on the show.
Fair. I have to do, honestly, at this point, I don't mind it. It's just part of the business at this point. But I'd much rather sacrifice one of you instead of me. Like if I had that level of power to be like, Jason, can you come on? I'm like, No.
Yeah.
Take one of the minions.
Wow.
Cuba, go dance for the people.
Someone is asking about a piece in Damage Mag.
Which one?
I
Oh,
don't
is my
know.
new piece in Damage? No, I'm not putting it anywhere other than the TIR patron.
So that stuff
There's
is
things that
exclusive.
damage. Most of the stuff I'm going to be writing, instead of having a Substack, instead of having all the stuff be kind of everywhere where people have to search for it, I'm just going to have it on the TIR patron. I do get commissioned sometimes to write things. Like there's this one piece that I've been lagging on really badly on steroids that I have to finish for Damage, actually.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to finish that up, but I also have to write another piece for next week for the Crisis Papers. Did you like the layout, Toussaint?
That was cool. Makes me want to take it on the go. Train.
I was a little nervous because usually Gene Bajlan does stuff like that.
True.
Wasn't Damage the Black Flag song? Yes, and an album from their great trilogy of records in the mid-'80s. Do we get to see what MT looks like? No.
No.
That was so definitive.
No. People have seen her. The best was when we were in New York, and you were literally standing next to me, and you had just got to the spot in New York, and I walked you downstairs so you could get whatever was down there, water, whatever we had down there, booze or something. And this guy ran up. He goes, "Jason, where's Toussaint?" I was like, "Oh, she was just standing right here." Like you didn't have the mask on yet or anything. You just walked in,
Right.
and the guy was like, "What? No!" I was like, "Yeah. Head on the swivel, brother. I don't know what to tell you." I mean, it's a podcast event for left topics. Find the black woman. I'm sure that'll be her.
Yeah. Seems obvious to me.
You would think. But Pascal in DC, there was a few black women there, right?
There were a couple.
There was a couple. But yeah, if you just find the black woman, it's Toussaint. Don't even worry about it. The odds of you being like Toussaint and her being like, "Who the hell do you think I am?" Like, it's slim to none. Slim to none. In a recent address at a black journalist convention, Donald Trump launched a controversial attack on Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris by questioning her mixed race heritage. He claimed ignorance about whether Harris, who has an Indian mother and a black father, identifies as black or Indian. This attack echoes his previous racial jabs, notably when he dubbed Senator Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas, mocking her self-proclaimed Native American ancestry during the 2020 race. While Warren's response to Trump's provocation resulted in an embarrassing revelation of minimal Native ancestry, Harris's situation is distinct. Her heritage is well documented. She has proudly embraced both aspects of her identity, from her involvement in one of the oldest black sororities to her education at the historically black Howard University. Many within the GOP express unease with Trump's race-based attacks, fearing electoral repercussions, not just in the presidential race, but also in the down-ballot contest. However, it is worth noting that Trump's racially charged tactics have proven effective in the past, yet attacking Harris as a racial imposter is unlikely to yield the same results as with Warren. Trump's rhetoric on Harris resonates with certain factions such as the ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery movement, and even touches upon themes from Afro-pessimism. This academic perspective posits that the world's cultures are fundamentally anti-black and that the prejudice one experiences correlates with one's skin tone. Under this framework, lighter-skinned mixed-race individuals like Harris purportedly face fewer challenges than their darker-skinned counterparts, such as Congresswoman Cori Bush. But is this view valid? Historical figures like Thurgood Marshall, a lighter-skinned man who was the first Black Supreme Court justice, undoubtedly faced immense challenges, arguably more so than Clarence Thomas, who is darker-skinned. Afro-pessimism, with its focus on race as an ontological condition, often obscures the crucial role of class. The notion that light-skinned Black people enjoy privileges akin to those of white people due to their proximity to whiteness simplifies a complex reality. My good friend Bert Cooper, himself of mixed race and lighter skin, would likely contend that this narrow understanding of race, devoid of class analysis, fails to capture the nuanced Black experience. This discourse invites us to delve into the intersections of race, identity, and class, urging us to examine how these dynamics play out in the political arena and broader societal contexts. Are you guys ready for the uncomfortable color discussion?
I'm ready. I'm ready for these house beats, man. Right.
Do you wish every debate was like this? They just had a little house soundtrack at the back of your ear.
Beats are tight, son.
Well, maybe the house is better than the other thing we're starting on the show with. But seriously, Pascal, and we're speaking in the American context, because I think colorism is a little different in the Haitian context. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Can you explain it in the Haitian context?
In the Haitian context, the colorism stems from the residue that comes out of the Haitian Revolution, where even pre-revolutionary Haiti, you had a large portion of mixed-race individuals, what we unfortunately call mulattoes, owning property and owning slaves. So there's a much more stark, deep, proprietary base to the colorism in Haiti that translates itself in the areas of Louisiana during the Louisiana Purchase as well.
Toussaint, you're Haitian.
Yes, I am.
Do you have colorism on your block?
On my block. I have
there's something going on. Are the cops chasing a dark-skinned person or a light-skinned Puerto Rican? Who are they chasing right now?
Looks like both.
Is the New York undercover dudes are running?
Right. Oh my God.
As New York undercover is happening outside your window, what do you see? What is the color of the suspects?
I'll say colorism was definitely a part of my upbringing as a Haitian American. It was definitely rough for Black people in general in the 80s. You see colorism in Coming to America. It was all up
Really? In what way? You didn't like the dark-skinned young sister? Is that what you're saying?
The dark-skinned young sister is a freak.
Oh, wow. All the dark-skinned women in the bark like a dog. Woof, woof. Like if she was darker, she's only dark-skinned hussies bark like dogs.
She has no storyline. She's not even a person. Yeah, she just goes off into nowhere after a while. It's about the light-skinned sister, and the light-skinned sister is the queen that you find in Queens.
She was not light-skinned.
She was pretty light, Pascal, and she had straight-ass hair. You got to admit, that woman was light. Eddie Murphy made sure he was with a light-skinned woman after he made it in Hollywood.
Yep.
He's a eunuch in Beverly Hills Cop, which is funny. Because he's like this very masculine man, but he never gets. There's the white woman that's like his friend, but he doesn't get to bang anybody. By the time he gets to like really do his own movies, he's constantly with a light skinned Jasmine Guy in Harlem Nights. He's with Charlotte Lewis, who I still have a crush on from Golden Child. He's with, like you said, he's with that woman that didn't do any other movies. He was just picking so many light-skinned women, he didn't even care if they acted ever again.
He
Is
didn't.
that not the standard for what film was like at the period of time in the 80s and early 90s?
He gets with Halle Berry and Boomerang after Robin Givens does him wrong.
That was before light skin Halle Berry.
What, she was darker then? I mean, she had that black nose.
Gosh.
These commercials, these conversations are just so.
But serious, that Toussaint makes a good point. Eddie Murphy stayed knee deep in a light skinned woman. And I'm a huge Eddie Murphy fan.
Yep.
But even his real life wife, the first one,
He made sure. Nicole
Murphy. Yeah.
He had a couple of wives. Okay.
Would you call the Spice Girl that he diddled light skin?
Yes. Scary Spice.
Wow. Scary Spice is light to you?
She's pretty light. Yeah.
How black do you have to be black to you? Is everybody in Haiti payphone black?
Payphone black. Wow. Pascal's mom is light skinned. Let's talk about that.
My mom is not that light skinned.
All these white people tuned into this show and they're like, I don't know if I'm supposed to watch this now. I think I'm privy to a conversation that feels wrong to watch. DC Joe Black just said, Lord. But seriously, all jokes aside, for like 5 minutes, what did you guys think when you heard Trump make that comment about Kamala Harris? Pascal, what was your first take on it?
I mean, there was a part of me that laughed a little bit. I'm not going to lie. There was a part of me that kind of chuckled at these ridiculous assertions of color and whatnot, only because Kamala Harris has weaponized that to an extent. She got caught on a couple of talk shows talking about curry dishes that she used to cook with her mother, and her famous her favorite masalas. Then she talks about how she used to smoke weed because she's Jamaican. She's playing up the contradictions herself. So I was only able to be only but so outraged.
Toussaint, you were outraged, right?
I was not outraged. No. I kind of saw it coming. I mean, based on the Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas, it seems also the Obama birtherism thing. It seemed like that's the kind of attack she was going to get. It's interesting because, go ahead.
Would you two agree, though, that using that kind of attack kind of can work on Barack Obama? It definitely worked on Elizabeth Warren. It doesn't really work on Kamala Harris because she actually has the black college background. She's an AKA. She also has embraced her mother's Indian heritage as well. She is of mixed race. It almost feels like he's out of his depth in the insult because I think he is trying to tap into one of these ADOS kind of jabs at not real black people.
Right. Well, the thing about Kamala Harris is that she was very adept at acquiring certain racially cultural signifiers early in her life to weaponize as a shield against any questions about her racial integrity. One was going to Howard University. One of the things, being mixed race, going to Howard, that's going to give her credibility as being a black person. Pledging AKA, being a member of the Lynx, that's going to give her a certain credibility as well. She as someone who is inured to black culture. So, someone said she went to McGill before she went to Howard. Did she go to McGill High School or did she go to McGill University?
I'm not sure. We'll have to look that up. But it is interesting though that trying to knock her on her blackness also erases her very 90s black politics that she had.
This is a very important point.
And
Very
nothing really speaks to that to me more than the thing she tried to do as a district attorney. Mainly the truancy law. Now, what a lot of people don't understand or don't care to understand is that law was already on the books in California. She was trying to make, and it was a misdemeanor, by the way. She was trying to do this thing where she saw truancy as a problem. I guess some reports came out and said, well, this is one of these issues that we're having with excuse me, young people is truancy, right? That's why these scores are down in these communities. And so her idea was, if we take this law and give DAs more power to press charges on the parents and give them these warnings, we can sit down in the room with the principal, the teacher, the child, and the parent and find out what's wrong. The problem, in my opinion, and I want to hear what you guys have to say about it, with that is, A, you're introducing kids and their parents to the carceral system, which, you know, why do you have to do that?
right.
That's unnecessary, and we don't want to introduce people into the carceral system to try to fix this societal ill that could be part of the carceral system, right? And putting someone's or giving someone's parents a very large fine, which she didn't even want to impose a fine. But that law, which is still on the books, other DAs took that and kind of ran with it. And there was a woman that actually got arrested in front of her kids on camera with a DA that was trying to seek re-election by really flexing on that law. So that to me is that kind of politic personified. I need to be tough on crime because it's the bad black people that we have to put away. But I think within the system, I can also fix the pores. Pascal?
Yeah, no, that's a very good point, because that type of approach can actually seem like you're being smart on crime without actually being tough on crime. But at the same time, it still has the same kind of abhorrent result of introducing parents into the carceral state. What are your thoughts overall on the results of that process as it turned out in the Bay Area, Jason?
It really wasn't used as much as people thought that it was. You know, when it was used as kind of a sledgehammer against her in the presidential debates, when you look at the numbers, she kind of backed off of it because she saw the folly of what that thing was. But what people have to remember is that bill got bipartisan support.
Mm.
And it was only a small handful of public defenders that pushed back with, and it was a mild pushback with just the question of, do we really want to introduce these young people and their parents to the carceral state? Is that really a solution that we want? And this is also like 2012. I think it was 2011, 2013. And again, this law is already on the books in California. So she didn't create a new law.
Gotcha.
So I think that's also an important thing, because we always look at this woman as a bit of an empty suit. So she wasn't even like bringing something new to the table. Law-wise, she was trying to get a little bit more power in the district attorney's hands to use their discretion to press charges on these parents.
Gotcha.
Paul Phoenix, that sounds like a very Howard grad approach. I mean, Tucson, what is your take on that?
I mean, that's one of my least favorite things that she's ever done. To take a carceral approach to truancy. Yeah, why encourage this pipeline to prison for parents? Why introduce seeing your parents getting locked up to children. She just wanted to make a name for herself on something.
Yes. I think she wanted to make her name for herself and do two things at once, right? Again, go after the bad people, but show that in going after the bad people, I can also save people at the same time. And that is a very 90s approach that you definitely don't see in the 2010s, in the era of Black Lives Matter, where now we're looking at the carceral state as a problem. We're looking at law enforcement as a problem and not really as a solution.
Mm-hmm.
But being that it's 2024 and we're 8 years after BLM is bum rushing Bernie Sanders saying you no longer have a black agenda, where is BLM and their cries for the black agenda in this 2024 race?
That's a very good question.
Where is BLM, period?
Sipping Mai Tais, I guess. But Pascal, really, what do you think about that?
That's a very important question, because what happens is to the crucial racial legitimization test that was so important in the 2020 election that all of a sudden is not even being realized today in 2024. No one's asking for the racial agenda, the black agenda, all that. Remember when that was like the hot question in 2020?
Yeah.
What's the black agenda? Does he have a black agenda? No one's talking that smack today.
Joe Biden, to answer that question, stutteringly said, I'm going to get a black BP and they're going to have a vagina. Remember that? Remember that?
Yeah.
BLM very strategically gets folded into the Democratic Party in a way that I found, I don't want to say the word disgusting, but the wind got taken out of my sails with the hope of that movement. And I was a little more hopeful than maybe Pascal and the Cedrics and the Therese of the world of BLM, just because I liked the fact that the conversations were changing. And I was touring in places where there were big protests at the time. I think the kid's name was Jordan Davis. They got shot soon after Trayvon Martin. He's the kid that got killed in the gas station. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
In Jacksonville. He had his music up and the white guy said, turn it down. And the kids turned it down. They turned it back up and the white guy shot him. And he killed a kid. We were there for the protest for that on tour in Jacksonville when that was going on. So it was an interesting vibe to kind of be around for that moment, that it felt like people were really aware of these racial antagonisms. But when I saw one of the BLM people, I think it was the Colors woman, on a panel with Mehdi Hassan talking about how they were going to endorse Elizabeth Warren, I was like, ooh, word? That's word?
That's right.
makes me sound. It all makes me think of that little YouTube short that I saw with that African woman, that small person. She said, "I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler. You know I'm a hustler. You don't have to ask me the way I make my money. I'm a hustler."
Dr. Claus said it's like red baiting, but black. I think all this stuff is really important when you talk about these like black issues, and it looks like Donald Trump is going to go a little off the reservation. And
Black Lives Matter was a complete hustle, man. It was a scam, bro. These chicks end up buying multi-million-dollar real estate, bro. Come on, man.
Yep.
I mean, at the time, they didn't have multi-million-dollar real estate. They
end up buying that stuff.
They did. They were going to Palestine and doing kumbaya sessions with Palestinians, and It seemed like they were really trying to have a different approach. I thought they were trained Marxists. I thought they went to like Ninja Academy for Marx.
Differently cash and checks.
Black belt Marxist.
Black belt Marxist. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Green check Marxist. Green check.
But there is an Afro-pessimistic view on this race thing that young people have. They talk about more and more. And I don't know if you guys watched the Rachel Dolezal documentary.
No.
Oh, why would we?
It's interesting. I mean, Jesus. I watched a documentary on the Wright brothers once. I wasn't. Jesus. Rachel Dolezal's not interesting. You follow her OnlyFans.
I do not follow her OnlyFans. I don't follow anybody's OnlyFans. Rachel Dolezal, the artist?
The artist formerly known as Shatika Watkins. The artist formerly known as Shatika Watkins. In the documentary for Rachel Dolezal, there's an interesting scene that really plays into what we're talking about today. And remember, she works for the NAACP in Spokane, Washington. I've been to Spokane, Washington probably more times than I've even been to Sacramento, California. I've been to Spokane a lot. The only time I saw a black person was when I looked in the mirror. That being said, apparently there's enough there to have an NAACP chapter. Spokane is not a very racially harmonious place, right? Eastern Washington's a little scary for us. And Rachel Dolezal, I believe, got to the position of head of the chapter. In the documentary, there's a black woman that says, Jason outing himself is weird. In the documentary, there's a black woman that says, I always wondered why she got more hate mail than me, being that she was so light. On its face,
all my life I had to fight.
I mean, yeah, the woman did come off like Oprah Winfrey in The Color Purple. Had to fight my daddies, my uncles, the neighbors. Like, God damn. All them people want to fuck with your big ass. We just watched you beat the shit out of Harpo 2 scenes ago. I don't know if I'm buying that fight scene. What's interesting about that is that woman was not the head of the chapter. She wasn't leading marches. Why would she get more hate mail than the woman that is the face of the organization? That doesn't make any sense. But just that framing makes silly people go, ooh, that's a good point. Ooh, we should have known all along. It's like, what should you have known all along? The NAACP historically has had white people in its organization. It is not an all-black organization. It's never
From
been.
its inception, it was integrated.
So I don't really get the whole, well, I'm darker than her, ergo I should have gotten more hate mail than her. And is that an award one wins?
Yes. Oppression Olympics.
But I think that's kind of one of those things that's important to talk about, because there is this view that the closer you are to whiteness, you have your own privileges. And my daughter, kind of with a mild tongue in her cheek, one day was telling me something had happened to her. She goes, Dad, I couldn't use my light skin privilege. I was like, what the hell is that?
Your daughter said this to you?
Yeah.
Junior
She's
said
young. She's young. But still, I was like, I don't know what that is. And then she just rolled her like, of course you don't know. I was like, well, I why would I? What is the light skin privilege? Do you get to like run red lights or something? Like, what do you get? Like you and your boyfriend are living in the ghetto. Like this, there's no privilege there. You get an extra piece of chicken in your Popeyes order. Like, what are you getting? But Pascal, what say you to that?
At all. I don't like white privilege discourse. I don't like white privilege discourse. I don't like light skin privilege discourse. I think it's a lazy way to do analysis that's devoid from the material realities of life, and also just does not really, it flattens class analysis. It's really a bad way to do diagnosis of the problems we have in society. So to try now to go from white privilege to go to light skin privilege, I mean, I think it's absurd.
Toussaint, are you tired of the light skinned people taking all your good stuff?
I'm tired of Pascal's light skinned mom getting the last ring in her Popeyes.
She got an extra biscuit.
Why is Toussaint is obsessed with my mom? I don't know what.
Because you said your mom was light skinned like 2 years ago.
My mom is moderately fair complexion. She's not like high yellow.
But you was on one day. You was like, my light skinned mother made sure all of us had Murray's in our hair and pennies in our loafers. That's a black problem, right? That no one talks about. Have you ever put too much Murray's in your hair and it's just white?
Oh my God.
This never happened. I'm the only guy that did it. Pascal, it's never happened to you?
Sometimes when you want to get a nice little, the waves working up, you put the Murrays in the hair.
Have you ever put too much Murray's in?
I never put too much Murrays in my hair. I never had that problem.
I put too much Murray's in my hair trying to get, I don't know what I was trying to do. And
Ass girl?
No, I don't know what I was trying to do. Maybe I was trying to get waves or something. I was young. My grandfather had a thing of Murray's, and a can of Murray's can last you a lifetime. I think my grandfather had one so old it said coloreds only on it.
Oh my God.
And I was like, he died when I was 9.
Manufacture Murray's?
It was just the can had just a black guy going through the back door. It wasn't even the smiling face. Yeah, it just lets you know that segregation was still a thing when this can came out. I think it was just made with asbestos, lead paint. But my grandmother never threw it out. She never threw it out. So I was like, I tried to use it and I tried to get a lot of it because I didn't know that a little dab will do you. Oof. Man. And you can't wash it out. You cannot wash the grease out of you. You can try to wash it out.
Oh my gosh.
Did you set yourself on fire?
It was like a scene from a movie where you put it in and you try to rub more of it in and it won't come out and it won't rub in. And then there's nothing you can do at that point. Your hair is just white. It's just white full of grease.
That's way too much.
Again, I took how much Murray's do you need? Like, be honest. Like this much. Like a fingertip.
It does last for years.
Yeah, a fingertip of Murray's is enough Murray's for the day, maybe the week. And I went like this, Toussaint. You know how you get like hella your and I was like, and you have to like really push down hard. Oh. It's almost like Play-Doh.
That's a death wish.
Yeah.
You slide right off the pillow.
Oh man. Yeah. Not good look.
We have a super chat from Derek Fuller for $18.04.
I feel like that's some sort of Pascal fraternity diss.
No, that's the year of the Haitian Revolution.
Oh.
I, white student peer in my tech school, told me, "You're okay, you're not too dark." 1982-ish.
Damn. Has anyone ever told you, Basca, that you're a comfortable shade of black?
Actually, a black woman told me that.
And that's when you started dating white women. They don't care.
Blew my mind. It really blew my mind. She's like, you're not too black. I was like, what does that mean?
Has anyone ever told you?
My mom's light skin.
You said, well, my mom. He just pulled out his wallet with a picture.
Pulled out a family picture.
He pulled out the family photo. Somebody just wrote, "God damn." Dr. Claus says the Duke hit. Yeah, the Duke works. Duke was the answer to Murray's.
True.
Paul Chaser Pascal. But I do have some questions that I wrote. What would you call, how would you describe Afro-pessimism, Pascal? And why do you think it's gained traction among Black Gen Z individuals?
Afro-pessimism is the philosophy that race is ontological, that the conflict between Black people and all other is permanently fixed in the universe, and that it is never changing, and only a major cataclysmic event could ever stop the imbalance of power that makes Black people at the bottom, and there's not a materialistic analysis that brings that reality come to pass.
How does Afro-pessimism challenge traditional narratives of racial progress and solidarity, in your opinion?
I think it renders them impossible to address the problem, because it makes it seem like there can only be a temporary solution at best, according to the vantage point of Afro-pessimists.
And what does that vantage point say?
That vantage point says that race is a permanent condition of the reality of dealing with races of Blacks and whites in the world, and the anti-Blackness, as they call it, is something that cannot be overcome without anything but a major cataclysmic event, whether that's a war or something to that extent, or a major earth-shattering reality.
Toussaint, what say you?
Afro-pessimism is spiritual also. Your soul is Black. You'll be Black after you die. And you'll still get to be Afro-pessimistic. Because after you die, you're still going to get discriminated against.
In the hereafter.
Yes, it goes very deep. You never escape it. It's all encompassing. There is no instance of a situation that is not touched by Afro-pessimism.
Now, there seems to be, like we were saying earlier, this kind of viewpoint that your closeness to whiteness is going to affect your real Blackness, right? I'm a darker skinned Black person, so I have a different Black experience. What do you guys say about these studies that have been done where people with certain quote unquote Black features and darker skin get longer sentences? What do you say to that, Pascal?
I mean, let's not act like in a society based on race-based aesthetics that there's not going to be some truth to the fact that darker complexioned Black people with more traditional Africoid features are going to face certain disadvantages, particularly when it comes to the carceral state. At the same time, I don't think that we should divorce the understanding of the carceral state's role being rooted in class and materiality, also having to do with how that plays out, and not simply surrender to color as the explanation of every single thing, without realizing that there's certain classes of Black people that suffer worse under the carceral system than others. For example, Blacks who have less high school education, and who are lower on the class tier are more likely to face incarceration than Blacks who have college educated. college education.
Mm-hmm. So if you're college educated and dark, then you have a better chance than if you're light skinned and a felon.
Technically, yeah.
I mean, do you remember a few years ago, Toussaint, where that light skinned dude took what do you call it when you get your picture taken when you go to jail? What do you call that?
Mugshot.
Mugshot.
Mm-hmm.
And his mugshot went viral. Do you remember that?
The
Light
super
skinned guy with
handsome
green
one that
eyes.
became a model. Yeah.
Did he really become a model?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what he told you?
No, he became a model. He was on the runway.
What runway? He was running away?
He went from way to being on the runway.
He went from running away to being on the runway. Oh my God. What in the RuPaul's Drag Race is going on here, Black America?
People thought he was so handsome.
Do you remember that, Pascal? You remember that guy?
Yeah.
You say it like you real mad about it. Yeah, I remember that nigga.
I'm not mad about it. He's
act like he stole your Murray's. He stole Pascal's Let's Jam. I used my mom's Let's Jam and she yelled at me because I guess it was expensive at the time and I wasn't supposed to touch it. I do have ass whoop flashbacks.
I bet you do.
You need to talk to somebody about that?
I probably should. But that's why I have a podcast.
There's a cool reason Jason gets a flashback.
My mama wouldn't let me enjoy cool breezes. Ever have the joy just beat out you and then I sound like Oprah Winfrey and But would you say that guy and his light skin is a light skin privilege? Maybe a darker skinned man wouldn't have been able to go from running away to the runway. What would you say?
Handsome guy privilege. He's a good looking guy. This good looking dark skinned man.
Name one.
ASAP Rocky.
Tyson Beckford.
Wow. You can really tell how old both of you niggas are. Is Jonathan Majors a dark-skinned man?
Who's that?
Yes. You can tell from both our answers again.
It's like I wrote it in the script, but I didn't. Jonathan Majors is the young man that had the white girlfriend, and he told her that she wasn't acting like Michelle Obama.
Oh, that cat. I mean, I don't know. John Boyega he's kind of dark skinned. He's not crispy.
Damn.
Crispy.
Damn.
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba's dark.
Idris Elba's crispy. He's kind of crispy.
Crispy. Idris Elba can bang everybody's mom. And 3/4 of everybody's wives.
That's a yes. that creaking noise says yes.
You want to read that super chat, Toussaint?
I can't actually. It hasn't loaded on my screen.
Oh, okay. It says, is Jason mad that he is not the heir to the Soul Glow Empire?
That's a yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Crispy is fighting words, says Prester Chuck. In your fraternity, Pascal, did you guys not allow quote unquote crispy Negroes?
Oh no, we had Crispies. We had some crispy brothers.
We had Crispies. We knew them by name. They were our Crispies.
They were our Crispies. Someone says Chadwick Boseman a crispy Negro?
Oh, he's crispy.
So are crispy Negroes in vogue then?
Wesley Snipes did a good thing for the Crispies at a certain point.
What the crispy? Pascal got light skinned mom privilege. Calling people crispy.
God.
You know I'm just joking, right?
No, now it's a joke. Now it's like, I don't really mean this. There's a lot of crispy Negroes in Miami.
Florida, South Florida. Woo! Woo, brother.
Is crispy town. And they start messing with you speaking Spanish. You're like, what the shit?
Wearing sandals.
Like, what in the hell? Black as an ace of spades. You over here gonna speak Spanish at me? Oh, hell no.
Eating beans.
Oh God. Okay, there's a few more. There's a few more questions before we go. How does colorism affect perceptions of privilege and discrimination within the Black community and beyond?
Well, yes, some folks call other folks crispy.
Oh, shit. I woke up this morning with such high hopes for this episode.
Yes.
And then we started filming. I think Crispies are banned in Kappa. Are there any crispy negresses? Are you allowed to be a crispy negress to be an AKA, Pascal?
I mean, there's a stereotype about AKAs with the brown paper bag test, but I know some dark complexion AKAs. I've seen AKAs that are, I wouldn't use the term crispy, but dark complexion.
So you wouldn't approach a woman and say, "Hey, you're not bad for a crispy."
Oh no, I would never. Come on, man. I'm not going to.
That's his pickup line.
This is big. I wouldn't say on the outside what's going on in the inside.
It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Can lighter-skinned individuals like Kamala Harris use their position to bridge divides, or does their experience differ too significantly from darker-skinned counterparts? Toussaint, what say you?
I don't know. I think it depends on how you're raised. Some people really, really buy into the light skin thing and they take it as a privilege and set up these weird dynamics with people with other complexions. It's a personality for them. And other people, that's not the case at all. They just seem more grounded and they don't relate to people from their complexion. Which one is Kamala Harris? I'm not sure. I'm not sure where her consciousness is.
Hey, have you ever met the light-skinned Black person who had to be super black?
Yes.
Super black?
I think we all know one.
Who's
Woo!
We coming for you, nigga.
What's your fraternity again?
Alpha Phi Alpha.
Yeah, this guy called it.
Good. Gamma. Pascal finna get off the air and have his own personal step show.
Pascal with the cane flipping it up.
Everyone's got jokes today. Everyone's got jokes.
You started it by you know how many hate messages I'm finna get from, and it's never gonna come at you.
Why? Because I said crispy.
They're gonna Jason over here talking about dark skinned black people because he's a self-hating Negro. Like, maybe today I am. I don't know. Maybe I hate you. Do you think some of this light-skinned discourse does come from a certain privileged discourse, meaning this idea that these people have, like, oh, you're lighter skin, you have a certain privilege? Because real life examples, someone like Bert Cooper, who grew up in foster care, in poverty. I mean, we made jokes about him having Kleenex boxes for shoes that weren't too far away from the truth. Where was his light skin privilege?
That's a good point. That's why I'm not a big fan of the privilege discourse. It's like how does that translate to him?
Mm-hmm.
I think class always plays a part.
It does feel like a bourgeois discourse, doesn't it?
That's definitely PMC.
Why would you say that?
Because it's categorizing people outside of the material condition and ascribing it to behaviors with light skin privilege that gives them a certain type of privileges.
You know, in the movie American Fiction, they don't have this part at all in it. But one of the big things of the book is it does kind of touch on colorism. And in the movie, the main character's father is dead, and apparently he's a philanderer. In the book, his father does have an extramarital affair, but it's with a woman that he had met before he got married when he was like a doctor in the war. And the woman was white. And the white woman's family was so racist they could never be together. They stay in kind of a distant contact through letters, and they meet up at some convention he was going to, and they have an affair. And in that affair, she ends up getting pregnant. And I forget if she doesn't tell him, but he finds out at some point that he's got a kid from this woman. And the son finds out, the main character, who's played by Jeffrey Wright in the movie. In the book, that he finds out because as the mom is suffering from dementia, she gives him these letters that the father had left behind. And he finds the sister. It's kind of a journey for him to find this. It's a journey for him to learn about his father also, and this relationship that his father had outside of the marriage. And when he finds the sister, her cousin answers the door, and he's got an exposed swastika tattoo. And there's kind of a weird interaction between them. He sees the sister, and she's like, "You must be the son," blah blah blah. And he tells her about the father and who he is, and he gives her a large sum of money. This woman, because she didn't have the wealth of the father, grew up in abject poverty. And when he visits her, she's like in a bad side of town. Like, that is kind of a perfect, and that book is from the early 2000s. But that type of depiction of real life, you know, class realities is something that is totally missing in the current discourse of the day, which is all about colorism.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's totally omitted from the film. And the book and the film become almost two extremely different things. You know, I hope people that watched the movie that kind of liked it went and picked up the book. It's an amazing book. But do you guys see a problem when even pop culture is playing this out as well?
Oh, of course, because pop culture always exaggerates realities to fill a stereotype or a trope for profit.
Toussaint?
No comment.
No
I'm
comment.
sorry. I'm reading this comment from Thomas Hooker. Are you sure Bert Cooper didn't write American Fiction?
I am. He would have been like 15.
Somebody else said, didn't Bert Cooper write for Harper's? That's his light skin privilege.
Wrote for the New York Times, yeah. New York Times, the Atlantic. Didn't Bert Cooper write for Harper?
He's complaining. He's out here complaining.
You guys mean.
Bert ain't got nothing to complain about.
Damn. DC Joe Black says pop culture never analyzes anything. Its goal is money. That being the case, it does set the stage.
See, you gotta be careful with these one droppers, man.
Well, Bert had made a point. Bert originally was going to be on this show, and he's still kind of working this theory out. But the one drop rule seems to be changing, and we're seeing this change in real time, right? He showed two different Nicole Hannah Jones articles that she writes because she is a mixed race background, and in one article she talks about how she calls herself mixed race, and the other article, just like a couple years later, she's like, "No, I'm black," and I identify as black. Kamala Harris, much like Tiger Woods, has always embraced both of her parents' very strong ethnic backgrounds, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I have mixed race children. My son is living with his very Filipino mother and his very Filipino grandparents. So, of course, he's going to embrace the Filipino side. Why would I not want him to? But there seems to be this thing where you have to pick a side. And the one drop rule seems to be out of fashion unless you're using it to defeat someone like a Donald Trump. Then we'll let all the one droppers in. But other than that, we have to give all these mixed people the side eye because they're not really black enough. They didn't really live the black experience. What say you to that level of discourse, Pascal?
What is the black? Is it this one unitary black experience as opposed to multiple black experiences?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we believe that there's one definitive black experience as opposed to several different regional black experiences?
Well, there's supposed to be one language that you people speak called AAVE.
Oh
my God. Come on, man. First of all, who says that's not regional as well?
Well, dialects can be regional, but apparently Negroes of different regions all speak AAVE.
That sounds like it came right out of academia.
Did to try to help teachers understand their chocolatey students.
Chocolatey students.
This stuff is so ridiculous.
Toussaint, would you like to AAV back at Pascal?
No. Hero ain't nothing but a sandwich, Pascal.
A hero ain't nothing but a sandwich.
What do you say when people take AAV very seriously?
I think that they're overemphasizing something that's just a dialect that certain groups of people use to communicate.
Do you think these people want to be racial tourists? Or tour guides, I'm sorry, racial tour guides.
Some of them, yeah.
Toussaint?
Jason's hate for AAVE is legendary.
Yes, because I've been around white people that sound like all the black people I know in California and New York and Chicago. And it's not because they grew up with black people.
I understand.
So I usually tell those people that talk that crazy stuff to get out of my face. Crispy kids talk funny. So there's not a unified Black experience, Pascal. There's not something that all Black people know.
I think it varies from individuals to individuals, from communities to communities.
What if someone says, "Well, you understood Jason's Murray's story, ergo there's a
Because I
Black."
have certain cultural similarities to Jason's experiences growing up in the United States in the 70s, going to Black barbershops.
This is the greatest comment of all. Toussaint, can you read this?
Oh, what is it? My restream is loading slowly. The Black experience, abject inner city poverty of 4th or 5th generation HBCU alumni.
Question mark. There you have it. Well, thank you guys. It's been an hour. We'll be back. If you're a patron, the link is already up. I'll definitely be in the champagne room. I think, Pascal, you're going to be in there for a little bit, or are you shutting it down?
I want to try to jump in for a bit.
All right, Toussaint, you're going to join me for a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. DC Joe Black says we all know about Parliament Funkadelic. Like, what is the white experience then that all white people know? I don't think Ben knows.
Carrot raisin salad.
Wow, you can get fucked.
Daniel Bessner knew it.
It's fucked up, man. So many years learning jive wasted, says Dizzle.
All right, Dizzle.
Did I send you that video of the white guy talking to AAVE, Pascal?
No, please
okay.
don't.
I'm gonna, in the champagne room, I'll play this video, and I'll play a little bit of it because I can't play all of it, and not even because I can't play all of it because like YouTube copyright stuff. I can't play all of it because I don't want to start punching walls. I don't have sheetrock here. It's all concrete. I will break my hand. It is that bad. It is punch the wall like a white guy with DV charges bad.
Wow.
Isaac says eating mayonnaise. I've never seen a white person eat mayonnaise like pudding.
Ew.
That's nasty.
Somebody said skiing.
Skiing. Skiing. Again, I know white people that have never skied. All right. Well, on that note, thank you guys. We'll see you guys in the champagne room. And we are
out.